Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. I know you've all been waiting for this reading on Andrew, and we can talk about Andrew, we can talk about Harry, we can talk about who called this. Was it William? Was it Charles? There's so many things we can read about. I want to know, let's go right back to the start. Now, I just did a destiny reading for the Yorks, and I said that they won't be living I did in their 1 year was Andrew had a shooting star, which means he was fizzing out. Also, I said that they would all be leaving the UK, and I even said that possibly Andrew might be leaving on the a request of William. And William came up so strongly with all of this. Somebody had a really interesting point that the announcement didn't sound like Charles. Now, that could be said as private secretary made it and whatnot. I'm going to ask the Game of Thrones here. Let's go right back to who made this decision. Do you remember that reading I did just a while ago about, I used the Ripple deck for the royal family, and they were all so calm. They were all so calm. Even Andrew had bliss. And I'm like, why is everybody so calm? Everything that's going on with Andrew and with Harry and whatnot. And the only people who weren't calm were Harry and Meghan. And now, hindsight's 2020. Look how much that makes sense. The calm before the storm. The whole family knew what was coming with Andrew. And that's why they weren't angry about what's happening. They knew he was losing everything. And none of them stood up for him, which says a lot as well. And I've done that reading on why is Andrew somewhat ostracized from the family, besides what he's done with Epstein. And I showed some pictures of when they were children, how Andrew would always be standing apart and whatnot. There's even a lot of suggestions and whispers and that Andrew isn't Phillips. Andrew is was the Queen's favorite equerry. Something like that. Did I say that out loud? I might have to edit that out. Don't hit the unsubscribe. All right, so my first question for Game of Thrones, right back, let's get back to the basics. Who called this? Who called this? Was this William or Charles? Remember when when it first came out and he said, I'm not going to use my titles. I asked the challenge, the card challenge, whose idea was this? Was this Andrew's or the King's? And the King's was absolutely not the King's idea. It was Andrew's, but I didn't stop to think, is this William's idea? Is William already leading? Is William already co-regency? Is William already shaking the branches, as they say? And all of you people who told me that they can't take away the Prince title when I was talking about Harry, can you please put your apology down below? They can take away the Prince title, even if you're born with it. They can. Here's... I know they did it during World War II. Here's another, and World War I, where the princes sided with the enemy, and they took their prince title away, born a prince. And now, here we see it again, born a prince. Another reason I think William may have done this is because we've read a couple of times that Charles promised his mother he would look after his brother. I think this is setting up precedents about brother taking titles away from brother. Say it out loud. You get the drift. Okay, so is this William? We'll put William on top, Charles on the bottom. William on top, was this William's instruction or Charles' instruction? Has Charles had enough? Was that heckling enough to push him over the edge? Or was this William's idea and saying, Dad, you don't need this in your last time on earth. Just be rid of him. You know, die a beloved king who did what was right for the monarchy. I don't know. Upright positive, reversals negative. William on top, Charles on the bottom. Six of Swords in reverse. William's really stressed about it. Really stressed about it. Having a hard time moving on. Ace of Coins. The King. The King planted seeds. The Hermit in reverse. William's more after his brother. The Chariot. Ooh. Was this Camilla pushing him as well? Three of Coins. William's working with somebody, definitely. Queen of Cups upright. I'm going to say Camilla and William. They're both Cancerians. Knight of Coins in reverse. There's Harry again. Death. You know what I'm seeing here? What did I say? Is this something that the king wants to do before he goes? Also, this is the Scorpio card. Seven of Cups. William's got lots more other things on his mind. Four of Swords. Look at Death and Four of Swords, guys. Four of Spears in reverse. Justice in reverse. Two of Spears in reverse. And Queen of Coins in reverse. There's Mama. Can you see them all? Sorry. Here. There we go. Can you... Let me... Hang on. There. There we go. Oh, my Lord. This was the king. This absolutely was the king. I think that he wants to go out well loved like his mother, and to leave injustice hanging. He'd have that over his head. I think that okay, so it's not William. Look, 1, 2. William only has 2 upright. William is working on other things. William is working on his brother. End of story. He's got way more other things on his plate right now, and he's working on that. This said he wasn't really interested in Andrew. I think what's happened here is like, Dad, you handle Andrew, see what can be done about Andrew, and then I've got the backing, I've got the foundation, I've got the wherewithal, I've got everything in line to undo my brother. I'm worried about my brother. You worry about your brother, I'm going to worry about my brother. Also, William here is more concerned about the succession. He's got a lot on his mind regarding that. But no, William, he may have here, he's showing up here as the Chariot. I thought maybe this was Camilla at first, but here's Camilla. So Camilla and William planted the seed in Charles and said, is this the legacy that you want to go out on? Is this the legacy you want to go out on? That all these injustice being done? Do you not want to go out in the same legacy that your mother did, that she always put the crown first? Also, this is him defying his mother, promising to always look after his brother. But in some respects, he has. He's allowing him to live on Sandringham and supporting him. Not supporting Sarah. She's not included. So in a sense, he is still holding up his promise to his mother. But I think what he did, I think he thought long and hard, what would Mom do? What would Mom do? And you know what Mom would do? The crown comes first. So I'm going to say he conferred with William and his wife, not William's wife, William and the Queen. And I think this has a lot to do with Charles' death around the corner. He knows it's coming. He knows it's coming. The death card and the Four of Swords is actually death. Whereas William's like, yeah, okay, you set the precedents and I'm going to watch what you're doing because I've got my own brother to deal with. Look at that, the Lovers in reverse. Harry's next up. Interesting, both couples are, it's the male and the female are both bad news. You know, sometimes it's like, well, yeah, he's a bit of a dink, but she's all right. Or she tries her best, but, you know, like look at Princess Anne's first husband. Fathered a child in their marriage. Like, fathered another child with a mistress in their marriage. Nobody blamed Anne for that. So she got to stay on as a royal. But those two, both those spares, they're both, all four of them are terrible people. Yeah, William's just watching and planning. And here comes his brother. This was the king. I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. Maybe when we did that first one, it wasn't King Charles at all. And it was like Andrew just doing that. Maybe Andrew knew it was coming down the pipe. And maybe Andrew tried to head off what was coming by saying, okay, I just won't use them. I just won't use them. Please don't take them away. So that wasn't the king's idea. So the cards were right. Wasn't the king's idea to do that. It was Andrew's idea to do that, and that's what the card said. So he was trying to head off what was coming. He knew what was coming. I just won't use them. I just won't use them. Please don't take them away. So the king never asked him to do that. The cards were telling us the truth. Andrew did that of his own accord, but it wasn't enough. It simply wasn't enough. The king, look at this. I love when this happens because then we know it's like when we have 2 and 5 and 5 and 2, we know they're jiving together. The energies are there. They know exactly what we're talking about. This is the king. He wants his legacy. He's worried about his legacy. I think we're coming closer and closer to the end here. I really do. All right, so that answers that question. Wasn't William. William's busy right now. He's doing that house. I think he's working with people about his father's funeral. Like, let's be honest. Let's be realistic. It's a big thing. I think he's got a lot of other things on his plate rather than to worry about Uncle Andrew. I think that heckling was the straw that broke the camel's back. All right, wow. Yeah, no choice. No choice. Done. Gone. It's not even your choice anymore to say, I just won't use them. Too late. Okay, thanks for watching. Please take good care. See you online. Bye for now.